Hello friends and knife nerds. Today I want to show you guys 8 knives that are for men with big hands. Me, I personally fit into an XL. I don't have a gigantic hand, but an XL is where my hands are comfortable. It can be difficult to find a knife that is comfortable for myself and people I imagine with larger hands. So let's look at some knives that I think will really help you guys out. Number 1, the Cold Steel AD10. This is a giant and a very popular knife for a reason. Just a big, beautiful knife from Cold Steel. There is the light edition, which basically just means it's made from slightly less expensive material. I think it's AUS 10 or AUS 8, I forget honestly, but this version is made of S35 VN, so it holds an edge. This thing is so comfortable, and I mean, you can just see my hand fits nicely in there. Makes my hand look small. This thing is big. Overall, it's 8.75 inches top to bottom here, and it weighs 7.09 ounces. It's a big knife, but it is so nice to carry. It's maybe not EDC friendly unless you're a giant dude, so maybe it can be. The bigger you are, the smaller it's going to seem. 3.5 inches of S35 VN steel, a big old chunky blade, really well made, strong lock back system here. So it's gonna stay secure. Zero blade play, just a big chopper of a knife that if you have large hands, this is gonna be a great knife. And right now it's on sale on Amazon, I think for $115, and that's a great price for S35 VN steel on this big chunk of a knife. Next, so this list is gonna have expensive and inexpensive. It's only fair because inexpensive knives can be great as well. Next, we're going to talk about the QSP Swordfish, a fidgety button lock Wharncliffe, great dimensions, 8.12 inches when open, and check out that chunky Wharncliffe blade, 14C 28N, 3.65 inches of it. It's a button lock, so it's nice and fidgety. Plunge lock system here. Great action on this thing, so you can use the thumb studs or the flipper. Very comfortable knife if you have big hands. It kind of slides right in there comfortably. The jimping's in the right spot here to just grab that blade a little bit more. Nice secure knife, and it's a really nice price point at about $70. Excellent micarta that just looks beat, and then you just beat it up some more. This knife takes a licking. Next, this next one is expensive. It's running on Amazon for $178 right now, but man, is this a great knife. The Paramilitary 2. If you have large hands, you can choke back here, or you can choke up on this thing. If you're back choked, you got this beautiful Spyderco choil right here. This, whatever you want to call this part of the knife, this ramping part, it's just so comfortable. Your hands fit nicely into it, and it grabs them perfectly. Just very comfortable knife. The ergonomics, you don't realize how nice they are until you're holding this thing, but it is so comfortable to use. Big, beautiful knife. The blade is a really nice size. The Para 3 is just under 3 inches, and the PM2 is 3.47 inches. This is crew wear. It's a steel I really like. Easy to sharpen, it's tough, it's like a trifecta. It's tough, it's stainless, and it holds an edge well. The Paramilitary 2 is just one of my go-tos, and it always has been. It's just a comfortable knife for me. Next, now this is one of Maxace's less expensive knives, the Peregrine-S. This thing runs about $70, I believe 68. Front flipper, thumb studs, and it is 3.78 inches of 10CR 15 MOV steel. Really nice action. Fits great into my hand. Non-contoured scales. Contour would be nice, but I mean, you're paying again. They're keeping the price down. It's a liner lock, but the action is sick on this thing. It's a very well-made knife, and they have some over at White Mountain Knives. Use code Knifenerd for 10% off. That brings that 68 down to shoot 61-ish. So use that code on any knives over there. Actually, code Knifenerd, KNIFEN3RD, KNIFEN3RD. But Just a really nice knife. I do recommend, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, checking out the Peregrine-S. Now, if you want to spend some money, the Microtech MSI standard issue. The MSI. Microtech standard issue is what MSI stands for, but it's called the MSI. So, you know, do whatever you want with that name. But we have nice contour G10 scales or the polymer scales, but I like the G10 better than a polymer. Polymer will bring the weight down, but I like the structure, the strength of G10. So I went with the G10 version. It's slightly more expensive, but this thing is so comfortable. If you have big hands and you're willing to spend a few bucks, around $200, you can get a polymer edition for. This one runs for about $250 if you want the G10. But the locking system on this is super strong. The action is sick. The blade is huge. 3.8 inches of M390 MK. It is a Microtech exclusive steel. So it's a proprietary steel. It's a version of M390 that already exists with a few extra components in there so that they could copyright it. And it's nice. Holds an edge very well. And man, you can choke up on this thing, choke back, pull cuts, whatever you need. This thing was really meant to be comfortable and easy to use. And man, this is just one of my favorites. I love the MSI, and I may be getting another version in the future, but this one's so good. I just don't need to. I don't need to. It's just such a beautiful knife. Really well made for people with big hands. Next, we're going to move on to the Lawman from Cold Steel, another beautiful cold steel knife. Now this thing, check this out. No matter how you hold this thing, it's going to be comfortable, whether you hold it back like this or you choke up on it. The blade isn't too long. I mean, it's 3.5 inches, but that is so comfortable. This knife is so comfortable to hold. The flat scales make no difference. The non-contouring just, I think, might add to this, because I can't imagine this being much more comfortable. Maybe some contour would help, but holy cow, this knife just fits no matter how I hold it. No hot spots. It's just really perfect. If you have big hands, it's just a better knife. S35 VN steel, 3.5 inches of it, 8.1 inches top to bottom, and weighs 4.24 ounces. Beautiful, strong triad lock here. Just awesome. A great knife. And it's on sale right now for $92 on Amazon, folks. That is a heck of a deal for S35 VN steel and this Lawman in general. Next, we're going to move on to something less expensive. The Amirite by Civivi. 3.48 inches of Nitro V steel and a beautiful, fully flat ground Wharncliffe. Man, this thing is fidgety. The action is sick on it. It's really just a beautiful knife, and it's so, I mean, relatively inexpensive. $77 for this right now. That pocket clip is a custom clip. Don't pay attention. It comes with the standard silver. But man, this thing is really comfortable for a great price. You can choke up on this thing. Big old finger choil right here to really get down and get on some of your cuts, get some strength behind them. It's a sturdy blade. It's a little meaty, which is nice. And at 8.41 inches total, it's just really a great value. Now we're going to go to the least expensive of the lot. Last and not least, the Sencut Traxler. This is only $40 right now. And it is a great value if you have large hands. This thing is comfortable if you have large hands. It's only $40, and then you get 3.49 inches of a beautiful sheep's foot blade made from 9CR 18 MOV. It is 8.65 inches total. Super comfortable blade and super comfortable to hold. G10 scales. 4.69 ounces. You know it's in your pocket, folks, but the action is sick. So, friends and knife nerds, I hope you like the knives I showed you today. I hope that's helpful for people with big hands, and I will see you guys next time.